Hey everyone, welcome back to the AI Made Easy series. I'm Steve Carey, and today I'm going to show you how to create a reusable AI prompt. Now, you may ask yourself, what is a reusable AI prompt and why does it matter? A reusable prompt can be used for anything that you do on a regular basis. It can be an email newsletter, a blog article, social post, a project, product descriptions, basically anything where you want a consistent format that aligns with your brand voice, your tone of voice, your style, and looks and feels a very specific way. The best part about this method is once you get it set up, all you have to do is treat one small area to make it unique for the content that you're putting out in this version. Now, it's going to make a whole lot more sense once we get into it. So let's go ahead and build the reusable prompt. And I'm going to show you the entire method start to finish. I'm going to walk you through what it would look like if you just started with an all-purpose prompt and tried to create some content. The example that I'm going to use today is the email newsletter that I use for this series. So every time I make a daily video, I send out an email to my subscribers and they get the link to go and watch it and so on. It has a specific format and style, and I want to keep it consistent each day I put it out, and I want to just make it on autopilot. First of all, let's walk through how I would set this up if I were just building a prompt from scratch, and you'll see what AI produces when we don't give it all of the background information. So this would be level 1 to start. So what I have here is a brand new chat screen, and what I'm going to do is start with a fairly basic prompt for writing an email newsletter. What you'll see here is I've got a few things defined. I've got a role defined, which is AI is an experienced writer. I've got a command to tell it to write a newsletter. And I've got some content about what the newsletter should include. And I've got some context about the whole background of this project. So I'll hit enter, and it's going to produce a pretty decent email newsletter. But this is what people complain about, is that AI will look and sound and feel like AI. And while this has a decent amount of, actually it's pretty decent, it doesn't have everything I want in there. Let's go ahead and go to the next level, what I would normally do, and I would add some style guidance and tone of voice into my prompt. So everything I've got here is exact same prompt as above, yet I've got some information about tone, and I have some information about style. And this should change the nature of what the output looks like, so it aligns more with my personal brand versus just AI style. And again, it's pretty decent. Now, if I want to progress on this, if I want it to really be consistent every time I use this prompt, I need to add some examples. So this next prompt has everything from the previous one, but at the bottom, I've added an example of what my email newsletters look like. So I've told it to emulate the style on an existing newsletter. Adding an example is probably one of the most practical ways of getting consistency in your AI outputs. If I did nothing else, I would always use an example. So here we have a pretty decent email newsletter that looks, sounds, and feels like something I've already written for my AI Made Easy series. And I'm pretty happy with it. It's got the placeholder value, so when I put it into my CRM, it's got the spot for the first name. It has a few things I don't like, but it's not too bad. And with any AI output, I always expect that I'm going to have to go in and do some editing. So I really want to get this to an above 90% good, or even closer to 95. So what we've done here is we've started with a basic prompt. We've added tone of voice and style. Now we've added an example. And now I want to create a way to reuse this so I don't have to rebuild it like I just showed you. The way we do that is we start to add structure to it. And one of the most effective ways to add structure is using XML tags within your prompt. And the reason is because most of the large language models, they either understand tags and hierarchy, or they've been trained on XML tags. So it is a really surefire way to add structure if you want to create a reusable prompt. What does this look like in practice? So first of all, I've got a few examples up here just to show a placeholder value using XML tags. And it's pretty straightforward and it's not that technical. You just have to get used to adding the opening tag and the closing tag around your reusable areas. Now, what I'm going to show you here is a full prompt that you can use as a template, and any place that you see the placeholder values, you go ahead and put your own content in there. So for example, I've got this structure here, and I have a starting command for an email newsletter. So let's pretend you're going to write an email newsletter. And I'm telling it to use all of the information in the placeholders down below within the prompt. I have a section for about. This is what changes each time I create a newsletter, but the rest of these stay the same. So we have the role, which is what you define AI to adopt the role as. In this case, it's an expert copywriter. The context, this is where I have told it that this is an email series about AI made easy and a 30-day challenge. I've got my tone of voice and style information, and I have my examples. Now, when you take this prompt, the way that you make it your own is you build in your own versions of what you want these values to be. So you'll see right here, I have the opening tag for role and the closing tag for role. And you can see in my example, I've got it already built out. So if you are having it perform in a different role, let's say you want to create a reusable prompt for crafting product descriptions for Amazon, you would have it have the role of be an expert product marketing manager or something like that with 15 years of expertise of developing product descriptions for Amazon Marketplace, something like that. That's what you put in there. Then you might put in a little bit of context here about your project. So anywhere that you see these curly brackets, you put your information in there. You'll put your tone of voice in there and your style here. And then your example email, in my case, I cut and paste the example email right here. And I have a second email example too, so I put it right there. And you'll see here that I've got the opening tag for examples. Then I have the opening example for email example 1. That's where the content goes. And then the closing tag for email 1 example. That's how I could put multiple emails in here. So this is the template that you can utilize and build your own. So let's go ahead and put this all together. I've got a master prompt that contains everything in structured format now. And I'm going to add it in here. And the only thing that I ever need to change is this about section right here. You'll see that this section right here contains generic placeholder values. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my equivalent of this section and paste it right in there. And you'll see, paste it in, content that's already filled out. And really this is about this video that I'm making now. I'm showing how to make a reusable prompt. And all I have to do is copy and paste this about section in, and it's going to inherit every other detail about the prompt and the style of the newsletter I want to create. And it's going to put out the email newsletter that I will likely use and send out to my subscribers for this email. And it has everything that I want in here. It has a subject line, a header, and then I have the body. And it's pretty much 95% done. And that's the process. Now, you can do the same thing for any of your projects. And what I've done is I've created the same prompt in my prompt library that you can go ahead and grab. So it's in the AI 30-day challenge section called email newsletter. And I'm going to open this up a little bit larger so you can see. If you scroll down, you'll see that first of all, it starts out with a placeholder prompt. And when you utilize this, you can just add some information here each time you want to use this. So if we're pretending that you're going to create an email newsletter, each time you create this newsletter, all you need to do is come in and add some content right here. This could be from a transcript from a video. It could be a transcription of your voice notes, which I think is one of the easiest ways to do this. And then all you have to do is copy and paste this section into the About section right here. And the rest of this are all the things that you're going to fill out and define for your brand style and email examples. And you'll see down below, I've got an example of the one that I just showed in the video. So you can look at this for reference. And down at the bottom, I've got some additional references for how you format the XML tags. And this is pretty simple. Once you do it once or twice, you'll get the hang of it. Once you internalize this method, you can now take the same template and copy it and use it for any other type of task that you do on a regular basis. Only thing you need to change is this section up here for the command. It could be write a social post or write 5 social posts. It could be write a product description about my products. So you have to do very little modification to take this entire framework and adapt it to different use cases. I've been doing this for years now. Ever since I've been using ChatGPT, I've been using a model similar to this, and it has consistently produced really good outputs. I use the same framework for all the clients I work with when I develop content for them. And when you start utilizing this in your own workflows, you will save so much time. And not only will you save time, you'll be able to scale your content production in ways that are difficult to imagine before you start this process. It is a massive game changer. So I hope this is really useful for you. I look forward to hearing about what you do with this, and send me your feedback. Send me information about what you learn. I'm interested to know how this works for you. All right, that's it for today. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next time.